had been erect, alert, his eyes bright and quick. In his precise, elegant French, he had introduced her to a world that she would never have found alone. The half-century gap in their ages had not prevented a mutual understanding that was as rare as the materials they worked with. Never having known her father, Reba had given Jeremy a daughter's love. He had returned that love, taking a parental pride and pleasure in her growth from a rootless young divorcee to a sophisticated, accomplished collector of natural objets d'art. He had given generously of his immense knowledge of gem minerals, cut gems and art created from precious materials. He had taught her everything and accepted nothing in return but her delight when they found something exquisite to add to his collection. When it had come time for Reba to make her own way in the world that he had opened to her, Jeremy had given her his blessing. His unqualified confidence in her skill, taste, and honesty had gone out along the gem grapevine. In a milieu where a person's integrity was his only bond, Jeremy's support had been a priceless asset. But still, not a tenth so valuable to her as his love. And now he was dead. "Miss Farrall?" said the photographer in the voice of someone who had repeated a question several times. "Should we go back to the mouth of the canyon for the green suite? I don't think those shades will do well against the marble. Perhaps the salt flats or the dunes?"
"Hey, sweet stuff," called Todd before Reba could answer. "Wake up! The lawyers are gone. There's nobody here to impress with your great grief for the old goat."
Reba looked at Todd with golden brown eyes that were as clear and hard as the cinnamon diamond Jeremy had given her for her 30th birthday. The ring glinted fiercely as she clenched her fist, then relaxed it. Today was the last day that she had to put up with Todd Sinclair, yet it wouldn't be the last time that she would wonder how a gentleman like Jeremy could have given rise to a toad like Todd. Ignoring him, Reba turned to the photographer. "The dunes, I think." She looked at her watch. "Take a break, everyone. We'll meet at the dunes in half an hour." She waited while people packed up equipment and began walking back toward the mouth of Mosaic Canyon. When the last person vanished around a bend in the canyon's marble walls, she closed her eyes and felt the welling tears. She had more work to do. The terms of Jeremy's will dictated the sale of his collection. She would do as he had asked. She would even accept the 5% commission. Then she would use it to pay for publishing a full-color book containing photographs of his collection, as it had been while he was alive. The book would be her memorial to him, a celebration of Jeremy Bouvier Sinclair's taste and unerring judgment. But first, she had to get through this day as she had gotten through every other day since Jeremy died, by not giving in to the despair and emptiness inside her. She turned and put her cheek against the marble wall, enjoying its coolness. Even in April, Death Valley was a place of dry winds and barren mountains black against the cloudless cobalt sky. She hadn't wanted to come here. The very name had set her on edge. Yet, once here, she couldn't help but respond to the fierce, naked land. There were no plants to mask the infinitely subtle variations of color and texture that marked the passage of geological events and eras. Minerals, both common and rare, were jumbled together, colors and textures juxtaposed in a haphazard way that told much about the violent geologic history of the valley. Earthquakes, molten rock flowing thickly, seas and lakes alternating with grinding drought, floods eroding mountainsides, strata of rock sinking, rising, bending, breaking. It was all here, written across the hard surface of the earth. The land had been here so long, and human life was so brief, a glitter of gold dust riding a restless wind. Reba heard footsteps and spun around, angry that her solitude had been spoiled. Todd Sinclair was picking his way along the stream bed toward her. His city shoes and sidewalk gait looked awkward in the primal land. "What do you want?" she asked, her voice clipped and cold.
"Same thing you gave old Jeremy,"
said Todd, trying to close the distance between them as quickly as he could. Pebbles rattled beneath his feet, threatening to trip him. He swore and slowed down. Reba made a sound of disgust and moved to walk around him. He stepped to the side.